Hello and welcome to this edition of Tips and Tricks. Now today I'm going to be talking about flipping a weightless stick worm. This is a Yumdinger, the Yumdinger, Cinco, Tiki Stick, you know they all have them. It's very effective, but it's also very tricky. And I'm talking about flipping into the stuff behind me. Heavy trees, heavy brush, not just open, sparse stuff. Getting it into the thick stuff. Now, I came about this totally by accident. One day I came out with the little 4-inch Yumdinger and decided to practice with the flicking rig. Started getting a bunch of fish to hit it. One fish grabbed it and took me around a reed stump. I set the hook and broke off my only flicking jig head. But they love this little green pumpkin neon so much that I'm like, how can I fish this? I can't fish it, wacky rigged with an open hook because I'm flipping. So I decided to put it on Texas style with just a nice 4/0 hook, so it would, once it got in there, fall same way it does on the flicking, horizontal. And man, I caught so many fish that day, and I found my hook percentage on this was more than on the flicking rig. One of the reasons it's tricky is, well, obviously there's no weight, and to get it in there and to be accurate, it's kind of tough, and to get it to sink down a lot of times, it's kind of tough. That's why I go with the 4-inch, 6-inch, a little too big, catches on things. But there's two things you got to watch for once you actually get it into a spot. Once you initially flick it in there and get it to sink down, well, I would go over that again, but actually when I flipped that in there right then, a bass took it. Wow, wasn't expecting that. Okay, I will in fact put it back in there. Once you get in there and you get it sink down, when you move it, you have to move it very subtle. You want to just give it very little movement because it doesn't have any weight. And if you bounce it a lot, you're going to get it up in the column and vertical. You want it to sit on the bottom, and you want it to just kind of quiver. So that's one thing that's tricky about it, is just very touch it. And second is, like that fish that I just missed, they hit it on the fall. You might flip in there and you get it to sink, and they sink very slow, and you're going, wow, I didn't think it was that deep in there. And so you're kind of letting it sink and sink. Well, the bass might already have it and you swim with it. And if you let them swim too far in there, even if you do hook them when you set the hook, or if you miss them, if you hook them, you're probably not going to get them out. If you miss them, they're going to get snagged, probably 99.9% of the time. So it's really important that when it's sinking to keep some sort of pressure on the line, or keep track of how quickly. I mean, you might start thinking slow and all of a sudden it speeds up a little bit. Set a hook, because that's the fish grabbing it. You don't want them to go far in that stuff. Another important thing is when you bring it out of there, to do it very slowly. Because if you bring it out too quick without this weight, if it hits anything up here, boom, 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 it wraps around it really quickly, and you'll get so frustrated snagging up on stuff. So there you go, flipping a weedless stick bait, Senko, Yumdinger, whatever. As you can tell by what just happened, it works. It's tricky, it's tough, but barely move it when it's down there, and keep watch of them hitting it on the fall. I hope this helps. Until next time. I can't believe I missed that fish. Okay, now I'm going to go in there and see if I can catch that fish to hit during the filming.